We're sort of live. We're live. It's happening. Boom.
It's boom. It's happening. I'm Steve Metrics. That's your boy.
DJ Triggs.
And together we are No Debate Sports. We are on that first Monday of July. And what's happening, DJ Triggs? What we got going in the sports world? I'm feeling a little itch come fantasy football. I can definitely tell you that.
Ooh, hey, fantasy football is wild right now. I have
Mhm.
so many like fantasy football things that are going through my brain. But like, I mean, the first big domino.
Oh
No,
no.
I'm
Oh
lying.
no.
Not first
Oh
big
no.
domino, but a huge domino like fell. So Paolo Banchero, Banchero is the way I've heard. But
Yeah.
either way, 5-year extension to stay with the Magic. So that was kind of cool.
Nice.
Yeah, things like that. 5 years, $239 million.
Awesome.
That's a pretty sweet deal.
Awesome.
The Magic have their guy now,
Yep.
so
I like it. Yeah,
yeah,
and that's
totally.
and for me, I mean, I got a little personal connection with John Hamm, the GM of the
Oh,
Magic. I drove him when I was a limousine driver. Super chill, super cool guy, awesome guy. So yeah, seeing the Magic succeed is pretty cool. I was watching Four Letter Network last week, and there was this reporter. He's one of those around the horn guys that you've seen
uh-oh.
on TV, and I love those mix of people. And this guy
Yeah,
is a die-hard Magic fan. And he
really.
was saying, yeah, and like he's been with them for pretty much ever. I mean, he basically says straight up Dwight Howard's the best Magic that's pretty much ever played for that franchise. I mean, we know Shaq is in there too. And then he basically pointed out too that they've never really had a great shooting guard since JJ Redick.
Okay,
And
huh?
he's legit on that. And he says this team that they got now with the guys they brought in, he feels they can straight up win the East this season. From a guy who's bashed and reported the Magic and is a realist when it comes to that franchise, he feels that finally the players they have right now that they can go toe to toe with everyone else and win the East.
Okay. I
What
mean,
say you?
I'm not completely sold yet. I mean, yeah, they did
Right.
their thing last season, and they got they got to where they were supposed to get.
Right.
Um, especially at this level of their team. They were a play. No, I'm sorry, not a play-in. They were a yeah, they were a play-in team. They were a
Right.
7 seed, right? They were a
Right.
7 seed.
Yep.
Because Detroit had yep. All right,
Yep.
I had to like replay that in my brain. Detroit
Right.
had New York and Milwaukee. Yeah,
Right.
that, got it. Milwaukee, Indiana. So my brain's not working too fast yet. I gotta get on my toes, right?
That's
So
debate. That's debate.
it that's total debate. I mean, it could be debate, it could be not debate. I'm not
That's
really
true.
sure what it
We
is
don't
at
know
this
yet.
point.
We don't know.
But so when you look at last year, uh, they were one of those teams where you're like, oh, okay, they're just gonna get run through by the Celtics. And guess what? They got run through by the Celtics, and that's kind of just how it worked. Even when the Celtics were kind of, you know, everybody was kind of like, we're just assuming the Celtics get all the way through, and things like that happen. Bencaro wasn't even the best player on his team, so like I'm thinking things like that, and they just gave him this big money. I think Franz Wagner's by far the best player on their team, but at the same time, you look at who's in front of them, where they can go. Yeah, they have a good shot,
Sure.
but that's only because of the injuries. And even at some of the teams that I've looked at and kind of done some things with, like, yeah, I like the Desmond Bain move, cool, but still they're kind of just the same team. Do I trust Gogo Badazi or Wendell Carter Jr. at the 5? Not particularly.
Yeah.
Do I trust Jalen Suggs and Anthony Black to hold it down at the point guard? I mean, yeah, they're okay, I guess, but like, does Desmond Bain feel a need at shooting guard? Yes, obviously. I mean, they have Jet Howard and
Sure.
I don't know whoever else can fill in, like Tyus Jones or somebody. But
Yep.
it's like, do do they have enough to beat the teams in front of them, especially at full blast or like full capacity?
Right.
Cleveland, no. Boston, still no. Even though they've made their shufflings and moves and stuff of that nature.
Yeah.
Detroit still looks pretty good. Even with the Michael Beasley
Suspension.
yeah. Well,
It's coming.
yeah, pending suspension.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. I like that.
Allegedly.
Like I like Jaden Ivey and Karis LeVert on that team anyway. So
Sure.
and they have like vets and stuff like that with Tobias Harris, and so I'm kind of like okay. Do I think they can beat Detroit? It would be fun to watch. The only team I really see falling is Indiana. So can they get the 6th seed out of that?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah, fine. I mean, I can make
think
an
Boston
argument
falls. I would take Orlando over Boston at this point for sure.
because of the injury, and that's it. But I mean, if
And
Boston
no
was at,
Porzingis.
they didn't have Porzingis most of the time anyway. So now the Al Horford thing hurts, but
Yes.
I mean, they got Anthony Simons from the Drew Holiday thing. Drew Holiday was a shell of himself, so Simons is at least picking up some a little bit of a point load.
Yep.
They got George Niang at the 5, or at the 4 or 5. So that was a nice little signing. Peyton Pritchard's a pretty good dude off the bench. He could fill in and get some starter minutes. I don't think they're that far ahead of Boston, even with the injury to Tatum.
Yeah, that's fair.
And then I'm just thinking of like, I mean, look at the move. Look at the move, the big move, right? The Heat got Norman Powell in the 3-team trade with the LA Clippers, right? Clippers ended up getting John Collins and I want to say the Jazz just got some filler like Kevin Love and somebody else, maybe some picks, something like that. But it's like, and they're probably going to buy it. Oh, it was Kyle Anderson, slow mo. So like, you look at that team. I mean, Tyler Hero, Norman Powell, Andrew Wiggins, Bam Adebayo. That's not a bad lineup.
So you're telling me my Miami Heat bet to win whatever that division is in the NBA might have a chance.
Ooh, let's look. I don't know what division that is in the I can't tell you the NBA division. Oh, Southeast. Ooh. All right. Are we ready for a 5 up for no debate? Just for the pure excitement and joy of like, can we figure out what's going on? All right. Okay. The bet. Are you Mario jumping? That's dope.
I am.
Can you name all 5 teams in the Southeast Conference or Southeast Division of the Eastern Conference?
Based on what I saw on the touchscreen when I was at the casino, it's going to be the Miami Heat, Atlanta Hawks, Orlando Magic. Oh, now we're starting to sweat. Charlotte Hornets.
Okay. Now this
did they keep that secondary expansion team in Charlotte, the Bobcats? Are they still hanging around?
No.
Occasionally? No.
No.
Oh, that's a shame. That's a real shame. All right, so we at least got one of the Charlotte teams, right? And then there's a 5th team somewhere hovering around that part of it. They haven't put a team in West Virginia yet, have they? Not yet.
Nope.
They're still kicking it around. Okay, that's fair. All right. The Washington Wizards? Is it something dumb like that?
Dang it. Yes.
Weird. They would pick a team all the way up the coast in Maryland.
I didn't think you were going to go.
Hey, I know my geography when it comes to somewhat politics and somewhat sports stuff-ish.
I'm trying to look for someone else that should be in that division.
Are there 6 or is there 5? I thought there would only be 5.
5.
Oh, okay. That's no debate. Boom. Yeah, I'm
What do you
not
think
putting
about
money on
that?
the Wizards. I'm sorry, I can't do it.
Why
Cannot put
not?
money. Yeah, I mean the odds are fantastic, but you just take your money, bundle it up, and throw it away. What was it? Some friend of mine at work told me he put money on. Gosh, he put money on something in the NBA. A team that I think. Oh, he put money on the Pittsburgh Steelers to like win the Super Bowl.
Yes.
Like, no, that is money that like take that money, like shred it up and put it right into the paper shredder. It's gone, like gone. Yeah, so it was an NFL bet, but yeah, we were talking more
Why?
NBA. Yeah, I mean I can tell you there's some interesting NFL bets out there, but do not put money on Pittsburgh Steelers to win games. I'll tell you this, Triggs. I will put money down in spite, find out whatever that win total is on the Steelers this year, and place money for them to be under it in spite because of
I made
how.
myself really short
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
because I'm short on this one.
I know, I get it, but yeah, I mean, I'm in the camp that I'm seeing by miraculous circumstances 5 wins out of that team. I still stick to my guns that I see them winning 3.
No,
Yeah,
That's
that's
how
going to be
short I
reason.
am on that one.
Okay, okay. The team last year I saw was miles above expectations, and everyone thought they were going to be bad. Everyone thought they were going to be bad, except for this guy. This guy had Pittsburgh possibly winning the division, and they didn't win the division, but they were a wild card team, and they were leading that division for a significant amount of time. Since last season, they have gotten significantly worse, and I'm not talking about Russell Wilson. I don't think right now Russell Wilson is, they're basically equal. I would say Russell Wilson. It's ironic. Over the last 3 seasons, you can run the numbers on this. Russell Wilson is actually statistically better than Aaron Rodgers. Straight up, it's like either the last 2 or 3 seasons he is statistically better than Rodgers. But right now, they to me they're identically the same player. And when it comes to fantasy, I don't want either of these guys on my team to be in
Heartbroken.
this. I'd rather
Heartbroken.
run the dice with Jackson Dart. If he goes down and flip back to Russell Wilson, cool, I'd roll with that. But I don't want either of these guys quarterbacking my fantasy team straight up.
Well, you know who I want quarterback in my fantasy team? The Washington Wizards.
The Wizards. Yeah,
I'm winning over here.
I don't know how that's going to work.
So no matter how bad my allergies are going right now, the
They are.
Washington Wizards are like fire. I mean, they're probably going to be really fun to watch. Listen to this lineup because I said
Wait,
this to actually someone today.
so I should
Wait,
hedge. So you're telling me that when I hit up the casino ASAP,
who,
I should be
who?
putting like a small hedge, like people who should have put a small hedge on Tom Brady and friends to come back against the Atlanta Falcons back in that Super Bowl? This is what we're talking
Um,
about?
okay, what? I'm not going to go. I might not go that far.
But it's a small bet. I mean, the odds are like to win that division. I swear the odds are like plus 70,000. Like
It,
crazy dumb.
okay, I'm gonna push it for a second here. All right,
Yeah,
here we
let's
go.
do it.
If the Wizards keep their entire lineup, there's
Okay.
no way they only lose 18 games. Or they only win 18 games, I should say.
Okay.
Because they're definitely not going to go 64 and 18. Just putting that out there. But
Oh, okay.
so last year, they won 18, and their lineup was pretty garbage, correct? Alex Sarr, one of the top picks,
Oh, he's
is now
great.
got an extra year under his belt, right?
Yeah, that kid's great.
He's been backed up by Kelly Olynyk, who is a Canadian stud.
Yes.
Just putting that out there.
Yep.
Okay. Bilal Koulibaly is like he's a pretty solid young big, right?
Okay.
He's
Yep.
playing there for. You have Chris Middleton, 20-point all-star at one point.
Yep. Yep.
CJ McCollum, 20-point player, by
That's
the
another
way.
20-point bucket.
Marcus Smart is their one.
Ah,
Or
there
at
he
least
is.
I'm gonna say he's probably like a backup 1 and 2.
Yeah,
You got
kind of a solid
Bub,
D player too.
you got Bub Carrington, who's an absolute bucket, by the way.
Okay.
And then guys like Cam Whitmore, who everyone's been like pulling for and trying to be.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a
Bub,
good team,
like
man.
he's a dude. Like,
Yeah.
so I'm just saying, I know those names probably don't like jump off the board and blow people away, but it's like,
You don't know them. I mean, you just don't know where they are. That there were at least two names that you said that struck me between McCollum. I saw that cross scroll real quick last week, but
yeah.
forgot about it. And then the other one, well, a few. Alex Czar. People totally
Yep.
forgot about that guy. That guy virtually played very little last season. And then the third one, I'd say Cam Whitmore.
And that's the thing is like, man, I know they traded for Jordan Poole out in New Orleans, but like,
Right.
I'm sorry, CJ McCollum's a better player, at least to me. Like,
Yeah.
I don't know, maybe coaching can make Jordan Poole reach his potential again,
It's
but
a good
that
group of
Washington
players.
Wizard lineup is not like, oh, we're just gonna roll over and lose on purpose kind of dudes.
No.
Like between those three vets, like you got 20-point scorers and all stars in there.
Yes, and we know that the way the NBA is now working with cap structuring and how they financially maneuver these teams that are from the bottom, the bottom dwellers, some of them are going to start to spring to life. If they have good management, they're going to start to figure this out. That is definitely one of those teams. But more importantly, what you pointed out between the Magic and the Heat is that to be and pieces are leaving kind of Atlanta but coming into Atlanta, it feels like this division is kind of wide open. So if I had to roll the dice on small capital, on putting a little bit down on Washington and then feeling a little more confident with either the Magic, the Heat, or the Hawks, that is definitely very tempting. And all of a sudden I forgot who the fifth team was in that division. Um,
Exactly.
yeah, like there's
Charlotte.
oh, yeah, sorry, Charlotte. Yeah, you're still going to be one of those bottom dwellers until you guys start to figure out like doing better than just Lonzo Ball. So
Brandon Miller's a nice piece, but
okay,
nobody else.
yeah. So it's kind of a bummer too. Plus, their color scheme is like a really cool color scheme.
So
I really like what they got.
this is
So
the thing I don't understand about teams like the Hornets, right?
yeah,
And I don't know if they're just stacking assets to flip, but they have Colin Sexton and Spencer Dinwiddie as their backup guards, right? Who are
yeah,
they're ball players,
they
right?
can play.
But you have Lonzo Ball, and Brandon Miller. Why do you need two backup guards like that?
Yeah, you really don't. And not only that, your guards are more often than not, probably the best conditioned players on the team.
Yeah,
Like in soccer aspects, they're probably more so like forwards, to be honest. So your guards in hoops are gonna be very conditioned, and you're not gonna burn through guards more often than not because not only are they forwards, those guards are also like quarterbacks to an extent
yeah,
as well. So
and,
they're gonna stay on the field of play more often than not than almost any other rotational player in basketball.
and they got Con Canoopel
Hey,
out
that's
of
our
two.
guy.
So
Yeah,
like, I
Wisconsin
mean,
guy, right from
that
down the road from us.
really?
Yeah,
Oh, I didn't know
Wisconsin
that.
Lutheran. Yeah, I had to
Oh,
hit up a friend because I thought I knew his grandfather, but apparently there's no family relation tie there. But yeah, he's straight up down the road, Wisconsin Lutheran, right by like Gilly's frozen custard, basically. Yeah,
really?
yeah, straight up. Yeah, Con Kneppel is a local Milwaukee guy, and like some of these guys like him, Tyler Hero, these guys, yeah, like I definitely like to keep tabs on our Wisconsin Podzinski out in Golden State. Yeah, like these are local Milwaukee-ish guys playing
Man,
hoops in the NBA. Milwaukee's
if,
starting to become a hub for NBA talent.
huh.
Yep,
Now you're making me do a quick search.
absolutely. I know there's another guy who played at Milwaukee Hamilton who's kind of been on Golden State Warriors as well, kind of a center kind of player. His coach was a guy who I worked with in baseball umpiring, and I actually instructed his son in marching band stuff back in the day as well. So yeah, like cool stuff going on in Milwaukee for sure.
Wait a minute. Okay. Wait. I just did a quick search here. Did not know this one, and like my mind is blown.
Yeah.
And people are probably going to be like, "What is wrong with these people?" But my man Jalen Johnson is from Wausau,
Nice.
like,
Nice.
and he played at Sun Prairie and
Yep.
Nicolay.
Nice. Yeah. Yeah, I mean, Wisconsin's
How did
definitely
you
starting
know
to
that?
become a hub for basketball for sure. Like
Wait,
really good basketball talent in this state.
so listen to the squad that we got like Wisconsin ties to, right?
Sure.
And it's kind of weird that we literally are talking about all these teams. And to be honest, I didn't really know that.
Yeah.
So, uh, okay. If we are just putting an NBA team together right now, all Milwaukee dudes, we
Okay.
got Patrick Baldwin Jr., solid. Johnny Davis,
Yep.
solid.
I'd like to see
Uh,
him play more with. He's still in Washington, right?
oof.
Or I know he got relegated down to the G League.
Yeah. He was drafted by Washington. I'm not really sure where he is right now.
Yeah.
I,
Yeah.
I'm not really sure, to be honest. He
Yeah.
could be though. Maybe
If
if I
somebody
look at
watching could comment on the APP, where is Johnny Davis? That'd be great.
you know what? I'm doing it right now to see if he's on the depth chart.
Okay.
He is not on the depth chart, so yeah, I don't know where he is.
Okay.
But
We'll find him.
Sam Hauser, the shooter, right? Tyrese Halliburton, obviously. Tyler
Oh,
Hero.
wait. Tyrese Halliburton's from here? I didn't
Yeah,
know
you didn't
that.
know he's from Wisconsin?
Oh, wait, I kind of do. Is he out from like somewhere in the Madison area?
Oshkosh.
Oh, Oshkosh. Gotcha. Okay. Fox Rivers.
So, and I know this is probably like everyone's like, what? Why are they talking Wisconsin dudes? But okay. But if you put like a legit team together, Jalen Johnson was borderline an all-star last year
Yep.
with the Atlanta Hawks.
Yep.
So Jalen Johnson, Tyrese Halliburton, Tyler Hero, Jordan Poole. I didn't know Jordan Poole was from like that. That just blew my mind.
Oh, okay.
Like, what is going on here? Like,
We could challenge the Eastern Conference.
what? I mean,
Outright.
you throw Kayvon Looney on there to play center, and you might.
You can win it.
And then, like you said, Podzimski, like you
Guard.
might have a
Shooting
team
guard.
there.
That is actually a team. That is actually a really good team. Now at this point, that's a team I'd take over the Magic. Man, I'd be a little nervous going up against Cleveland, but I'd be ready to just trade blows against those teams and then see how it goes against the Knicks. I mean, the Knicks are probably still my team to come out of the East at this point. Plus, I really like the head coaching hire that they have. I did not know he was available. I thought he was still coaching the Sacramento Kings. So learn something new every day. But
Oh,
yeah, the Knicks got a squad, but we would also have a squad with legit Wisconsin guys. That'd be a very
and
tough team to
Ochai
play against.
Agbaji, I didn't know he was from here either. But like,
Okay,
this is kind of weird. Like,
totally.
I didn't know half of these dudes were like representing Wisconsin, and now I feel a little bad.
Yeah.
Oh wow! And then we have he's like the number 56 recruit or something in the nation. I don't really know.
Yeah.
Uh, there's a dude named Reese Balkman who they got up
Okay.
here. Is he in the NBA now?
I don't know who that is.
Yeah, I don't either. Like, I'm very puzzled. But he's the last guy. Oh no, he played for Brooklyn. Huh. Okay. 34
Yeah.
games for Brooklyn last year. Yeah, no idea who that is. But like if we had a legit center, this team could be something. Like if
Nice.
you would play Tyrese at the 2, right? Maybe Jordan Poole or Tyrese at the 1, Jordan Poole at the 2, Tyler Hero at the 3, and maybe put like Jalen Johnson at the 4 and Kayvon Looney at the 5. Okay, we actually have a legit starting 5.
Nice. We're ready to go,
All right.
man. That's no debate.
All right, that is no debate. All right, we're gonna get off that story. I mean, I don't want to bring up like Nick Van Axel or Latrell Sprewell or Karan
Yeah, we
Butler
know.
or anything,
Yeah, we
but
know.
we got a squad. Like
We got guys.
um yeah. So besides that, I'm all over the place today. But the Clippers made that deal that we talked about. The Jazz getting some buyout candidates. Maybe there's a spot for Kevin Love or a Kyle Anderson on somebody's team if they
Yeah.
need defense, need some shooting from a big.
Right.
But the big part about that, like Norman Powell going to the Heat and then John Collins going to the Clippers, I'm not gonna lie, I really like the Clippers right now.
Yeah, I
Um,
liked him last season too.
like just the idea of the guys that they have on their roster now and the five, like I know we were talking about, hypothetical fives, but if you look at it this way, right? They have Bogey Bogdanovich, right? Which he's a solid two. James Harden has been playing really good at the one. Derrick Jones Jr. got moved over there. Now
Yep.
you add John Collins, then you have Kawhi Leonard and Ivaka Subac. Like plus Brooke Lopez is over there now. Like, man, you have two legit centers,
Yeah.
two legit guys that can play the four. Then you have Kawhi Leonard, James Harden. Like, wow.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, you do. You have all that. Come playoff time, though, they definitely have to be heads up that if James Harden ain't working, you gotta swap him out quick.
And
That's got to be Lou
and that's
Williams' biggest downfall with coaching this team.
and that's the only problem I have. Even looking at their lineup now, they have Chris Dunn and Bogdanovich off the bench right now.
Yeah,
Um,
they need guard play.
yeah, they need to have, and dare I say it, a Chris Paul reunion, maybe. I don't
Right.
know.
I could see that.
Like
I could see
last
that.
time Chris Paul and James Harden played together, I mean, they put a scare in the Golden State Warriors. So
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I could totally see that. I think that would work. But yeah, they got to figure this out quick. And to be honest, that free agent well is getting it's getting shallower. There's starting to be less free agents out there that you're available to move and move off of. These chess pieces are starting to fall into place, and there's not going to be too much bigger movement really falling into place. I think in the coming weeks. I mean, maybe we get a weird LeBron James deal or something.
oh,
I mean, potentially with us in Milwaukee, we hope it doesn't fall, but we hope we hold on to Giannis. So stuff like that is kind of weird. That could always happen.
I said Michael Beasley earlier. I meant Malik Beasley.
Yeah,
Don't
Malik.
mind me.
Yeah, we know, we know,
That
we
just
got
popped
you.
into my head, and I was like, wait a minute, that's not even the right guy. But like, I'm looking at right now. I'm looking at the best free agents available. I'll just give you a rundown of the top five.
Sure,
I know you're not going to agree with this one,
I won't.
but number one is Josh Giddey.
Yeah,
Um, I have heard something weird though that apparently he's been running games with some of the Australian members because he's from down under. Is he from Australia or
oh
New
yeah,
Zealand? I can't
he is
remember.
from Australia. I can
Okay,
tell you with 100% certainty, with how fantastic he was in Oklahoma City, what he had off the court is what ended up dealing him for something, or had them deal for a player that was as strong contributing somehow, some way. It turned out it was on the uh, defensive side, but they had to find a piece to replace him because of that story that happened off the court, and it
yeah,
is probably still lingering. It's a really bad look, and he that's why they brought in Alex Caruso. And Alex Caruso was great, had a huge impact in this playoff run. But it is very ironic because if we go back maybe within the last 2 to 3 years, he was actually probably the best player on the Oklahoma City Thunder. He was the future of that franchise. They
Hey,
felt that they could build around him more than they could build around Shea Gilgeous-Alexander.
yeah. And I mean, last year, even with going to Chicago, he was putting up 15, 8, and 7. So
Yeah.
it's not like his numbers were bad. He's actually a really solid guard. Especially when he can play off the side of a small point guard that scores the ball, like Kobe White was with the Chicago. Like that's a 20-point scorer, and now Giddey can play off the ball. He actually started shooting the ball a lot better last year. So, like seeing him as the number one rated free agent is kind of funny in its sense. But then they have Quentin Grimes, from Philly. Number 3 is Jonathan Kuminga because he's restricted. You got Cam Thomas with Brooklyn and Al Horford with Boston. So I'm a little like
Giddey's
maybe.
your best guard.
Yeah. Because then the next 3 are Westbrook, Paul, and Bradley Beal. So
I think the thing is, ultimately, it comes back to, I mean, there's probably people watching who don't even know what we're talking about. But if you actually do a little bit of research, find the story on Giddey and how he was no longer on the Oklahoma City Thunder, they were under some pretty heavy heat, heavy heat to get rid of him, and they did. And the thing is, nowadays, I think the NBA, just in general, is kind of better at burying dirt than the NFL. The NFL, big time stories, they're going to explode. People are crazy about the NFL. We love the NFL. It's great. It's a sport, but it also has that entertainment, if we want to go tinfoil hat theory, that it is somewhat rigged. And by the way, next week, guys, I will have that sucker. Been a little crazy in the real world with a work week schedule. But next week I will have that tinfoil hat. That's no debate. But anyways, I think people are gonna be more forgetful about Josh Giddey's story, which would allow him better movement. And to me, it's why that Chicago's like, yeah, I think we're okay. We can move on from him if need be.
And I think they just kind of want to bottom out. Their depth chart is not very good. Like you have Io DeSumo, Amada Buzelis, both young guys. I'm assuming they're gonna they traded Lonzo Ball for Isaac Okoro of all players. Then you have Vucevic, who I'm sure is gonna get traded at some point. Kobe White's kind of the only thing there that's even relatively good. Like some of these other guys, I don't even think are NBA players anymore. Like Kevin Herter's a good shooter, fine. Trey Jones, a backup point guard. Zach Collins, backup center. Like,
yeah,
just
you're right.
Meh, you know. But yeah, the other big news. I don't know how you feel about this.
Okay.
Are you ready for this?
Let's bring it.
The WNBA All-Star Game named their the rest of their teams.
Okay. Who we got?
Okay. Let me click here just to make sure I don't miss anyone off the top of my noggin. I don't want to be that guy. Obviously we went through the starters last week. So we have from the LA Sparks, Jackie Young, or no, LA Sparks is Kelsey Plum.
Kelsey Plum.
Wow. Yes. You know, I love me some Kelsey Plum. She's
absolutely
probably my favorite player.
She should still be on the Aces if they were smart about that.
From the Aces, Jackie Young. See, I kind of had that correct.
No Asia Wilson?
Asia Wilson was a starter.
Oh, okay. Gotcha.
I wonder if I can pull it up to give me like all starters and all reserves. It's only giving me reserves right now, which is kind of annoying. All right. Starters was Paige Beckers, Caitlin Clark, Sabrina Ionescu, Alicia Gray, Nafisa Collier, Asia Wilson, Brianna Stewart, Leah Boston, Nneka Agumbawale, Nneka Agumake, I'm sorry. Arike Agumbawale was who I was thinking of. Seitu Sabali out of Phoenix. And then the reserves are Sonia Cintron, Skylar Diggins, which we talked about last week, Ryan Howard, Kiki I am really bad at this. She's a rookie for Washington. Kiki Ariafin,
Okay,
really good player out of Southern Cal.
sure.
Kelsey Mitchell, also from the Indiana Fever. Um, Kelsey Plum, Angel Reese, Alyssa Thomas, Kayla Thornton, Courtney Williams, Gabby Williams, and Jackie Young.
Okay.
I know that's a lot of words and a lot of names, but um, it was quite a few first time All Stars with obviously Kiki, Kayla Thornton from Golden State Valkyries, because
Yeah.
she's finally getting some time to play after, I think, like 9 years. Um, and then Gabby Williams on Seattle is also getting a lot of PT.
Okay.
So, I mean, it's a pretty solid lineup, pretty solid team. Obviously, all these people deserve to be in there.
Yeah.
My favorites, Skylar Diggins and Kelsey Mitchell and Kelsey Plum,
Yep.
like really, really solid players. Even Angel Reese, I mean, she's been going bananas over the last like month.
Yep.
I think in the last 2 weeks, she's averaging like 17 and 17. It's crazy.
Nice. That's great.
On the basketball side, I think that's just about as much as I can think of.
Yeah.
What do we got on the football side?
Man, on the football side, I mean, I definitely want to spend a little more time kind of thinking about it, but definitely for draft strategies, especially if you're in a bigger league like you and I are, and we
Yeah,
are getting ever so closer to getting 32 members for our 32 fantasy team. Right now, we are at 20 in the books, which is dope, amazing, super exciting. But even if you're in a league that's probably like 16, I would say probably in that 12 to 16 range. I mean, I'll be honest. We were once a 12-team league, and we went to 16, and I still felt at 16 that I could build a stacked roster. And that year I did. I
yeah,
did have a pretty stacked roster. But like I just feel when you start getting in those bigger leagues, it does become more fun. It becomes more interesting. And the teams that start to maneuver the back end of the draft in terms of running production are going to have stronger teams because they're going to have more explosive passing games in general, whether it's from their wide receivers, their quarterbacks, and they probably are hitting a home run to some level on the tight end production as well. So I would definitely try to find teams that you can hit some bank on that are under the radar. Some guys who like you just kind of forget about and you kind of think, oh man, we can land some of these guys, especially the last few years with Miami Dolphins running backs, or even as recently as last year where you had Alvin Kamara and his backup in New Orleans, that you could get those guys way late. There's two teams that clearly stick out to me that you can get late. But then again, there's also a player that is on the same team of a guy going way high, and that is Atlanta. So if you there's a lot of talk about Bijan Robinson being the number one fantasy player for this season. I think the most important thing you have to look at with him is not his production since getting drafted, because to be honest, he basically has been in the league that whole time without a quarterback. So what do you know? You're expecting eight guys in the box. So I get it. But I think this year could be a year where he starts to become a Todd Gurley-ish guy because Michael Penix deserves respect. Michael Penix is a fantastic pure passer. He is more traditional. He's more pocket bound, but man, he can throw a beautiful, beautiful spiral. Left-handed quarterback, so that's kind of cool. But Bijan's an all-around back. He's got kind of that Todd Gurley kind of style about him, maybe a little leaner. I could see that. But if you get Tyler Algier, or sorry, if you get Bijan Robinson way early, you got to get Tyler Algier way late because typically when they get to the goal line, Algier is that bruiser that just kind of Mike Allstots his way into the end zone and gets you those fantasy points for the touchdown. And those fantasy points for a touchdown mean pretty much they mean the most. They really do. If you see a guy not getting too much yardage, but he gets a touchdown, you feel great. Um, And if you get a ton of yardage and you don't get a touchdown, it's kind of a weird feeling that you get in your stomach when you get that too. So Tyler Algier, fine when he's going way late. He's a great guy to get. But the teams I like where you can get both guys way late, look at a team like the New York Giants. That's a team that flat out this season is going to surprise people. They are going to have a much better defense. They drafted the best player in the entire draft in Abdul Carter this year, which made no sense. That is not the team where I thought Abdul Carter was going to go, but he went to them. So their defense is going to get the job done. They're going to get off the field quick, which means their offense is going to be on the field more often than not, and they're going to have more reps to score, whether it's with Russell Wilson or Jackson Dart at quarterback. That being the case, they got some guys on that team. They got a nice tight end. They got Malik Neighbors. They got Darius Slayton, and their running back crew is kind of cool. The guy that played last year had some pretty solid production. Fun story there. He's actually only played the running back position for the last 3 years of his life. That's
Really?
it. Yeah, really. Has only played running back for like the last 3 years. And
You're
he's
talking about
already
Tyrone Tracy, right?
yes, Tyrone Tracy has only played the position for the last 3 years. That means he has so much tread on those tires. He probably has the most tread compared to any running back that is in the NFL. That's pretty crazy in terms of their entire lifetime. And then again on that team is Cam Scadaboo out of Arizona State. Guy basically carried Arizona State on his shoulders in a Christian McCaffrey kind of like style and brought Arizona State to the Final Four of the college football playoff. Absolutely remarkable player. I thought he was probably going to stay in college. Maybe I was wrong on his years in school, but I thought he was going to be in the draft this upcoming season. And maybe if he would have stayed, maybe he would have even gone even higher and kind of like an Ashton Genty kind of bet on yourself deal. But he went in this draft, and he is going to be a major part of that New York Giants offense. You're going to be able to get both those guys way late in your draft. I mean, if you're talking, I haven't looked at it, but I would guarantee you could probably get both those guys at least round 6, maybe round 8, or even later in probably a typical 10-team format.
I think you're spot on. So Scadaboo, for some reason, they actually have him ranked higher than Tyrone Tracy. Um,
Wow.
it- now, I mean, it's they got him ranked. And I'm just looking at ESPN, 33 and 34, respectively. And
Oh,
so,
hot dog, man. Hot dog.
yeah, and it's like to get that guy as a 30th running back is kind of insane.
That's basically Jordan Mason.
Yeah, I mean, they're down with guys like Travis Etienne, Austin Eckler.
Oh, no. Did I tell you last October, someone actually opened up a Snickers bar, and when they went out for Halloween, like how people jokingly and not jokingly, not funny, we don't advocate for this, don't do this at all. But someone actually opened up their Snickers bar, and inside of it was not a razor blade, but it was actually Travis Etienne's 2025 fantasy football stats.
Oh, that's mean.
Yeah.
That is
I felt
mean.
so sorry for that person with that Snickers bar.
Now, here's another name that I'm going to throw at you because I've been kind of like looking at some names. What about Caleb Johnson in Pittsburgh? They got him ranked as the 27th running back in the league, and
Yeah.
like I think that dude could go off because
Uh,
everybody in Pittsburgh that's a running back goes off.
is this the Caleb Johnson, the rookie from Iowa?
I believe so. Let me make sure that I'm not crazy here for a second.
Yeah,
But
with him and Jalen Warren, right?
yeah, yep.
All right. Yeah, I mean, this is going to be something that you're going to have to roll with. I'm pretty firm on my stance with Pittsburgh, although there is one Pittsburgh player on offense that I'm going to keep in my back pocket that I am considering rolling the dice on as a super late flyer,
Ooh, I
as
know who it is.
possibly
I
my
know who it
my.
is.
Oh, you got it.
I
Who's the
I
guy
don't know.
you're thinking that I'm thinking about?
Pat Fryermuth.
No,
Oh,
but I
what?
do like. But Fryermuth is the guy I would kind of consider, but he's not a guy that I think I'm gonna get. This guy I'm looking at, I highly doubt you'll find him.
Wow. All right, now you're gonna
But I
make me
do
go
like
through some.
Fryermuth. I've always liked Fryermuth.
And there's no. Strange.
Yeah. And
Strange.
this is a player too that I could end up drafting, and if I don't see legit contribute or legit contributing effort, whoops, sorry about that, into the offense, that he would stay on my roster for a long amount of time. He might be a guy that I might roll with for maybe 1 or 2 weeks. Because again, too early in the fantasy season, you got to be aggressive on the waiver wire. Like there will be guys that just explode that you're going to take, and you're going to manipulate your roster very quickly. Could it implement self sabotage on your roster? Sure. But this guy from Pittsburgh is a very interesting second year player that I would be considering rolling the dice with. Because if he's
Wow.
got something with Rodgers, then you might be looking at the next Alec Pierce.
Okay. And then my other big one that I'm looking at off the ranking sheets, they've got him ranked outside of the top 20 with running backs. Quinshon Judkins. I just
Yes.
like saying his name, but
Yes, we
like
all do. It rolls off the tongue
Jerome,
great.
yeah, and Jerome Ford failed me a lot.
He did.
Judkins out of or Ohio State, like
Yes.
you could
Yes.
do worse,
He's a
out of the
scary
top
guy,
20.
man. He is very scary, as well as the other running back there. Those two backs in Cleveland, you could do some damage with and get them fairly late.
And we're not talking Jerome Ford, right? No Jerome
No,
Ford.
no, it's another name that's new.
Is it Dylan Sampson?
I believe so. Yeah,
Got to make sure I'm talking about the right guy.
yeah. Both of
Oh
these
yeah,
guys
from
are young.
Tennessee. They were both
Okay.
drafted this year. They're drafted back to back, third and
Yes,
fourth one.
the Tennessee guy. I kid you not. I actually saw his highlights on Twitter not too long ago. His highlights are scary, man. You're talking like a guy who runs, ironically, but on the NFL side, kind of has like a Chris Johnson kind of vibe about how he jukes and how he ebbs and flows. And plus, Tennessee is a good school, but they're not the. I mean, they have definitely worked their way to the upper tier of the SEC, but they are not a school that has still clipped their way into the college football playoff. They're coming very close. They will probably be there in the very short term future, just because of how crazy excited that state is about their volunteers down in Tennessee and that program. So yeah, they're probably going to make some noise. But man, these Tennessee running backs, they're eventually going to hit, man. I mean, Alvin Kamara is one of them.
Yeah. Now the one I know we're talking rookies and running backs now. There was a first round pick in Omari and Hampton out of North Carolina,
Yes.
and
Yep.
I don't I don't like that he's behind Najee Harris on the depth chart right now, but that
I
dude's going to
do.
explode at some point.
That's why I like him being behind Najee Harris on the depth chart, because the value you can get on Amari and Hampton in your draft, you're going to be able to get him later, and that could easily be a gem. That could easily be a guy who overtakes the guy ahead of him. Jalen Warren took over for Najee Harris. Jalen Warren's really good, but Jalen Warren is still not an all-down back, and he might not even be that in Pittsburgh this season. Uh, Caleb Johnson, the guy you're talking about,
Moving around, sorry.
going into this season. Uh oh. We got a little Blair
So
Witch stuff going on over there.
we do.
But
All right. So
yeah, I mean that's
we
yeah.
have a really
Uh
cool
oh.
booklet here. All right, and this
Okay.
goes along with my next question. It's probably going to be backwards, and
Okay.
now I need to give me 1 second. I'm going to somehow try to flip my face. I don't know if I can do that.
That's
Um,
debate.
it could be debate because I don't know how to flip my face. But all
Yeah.
right, you're going to have to read this
Harvey
backwards.
Dent knows how to do that.
Oh wait, mirror, boom.
Mirror.
You can see me now from the other side. Look
Oh
at this.
wow.
This is kind of dope.
Yeah, it is. That
Oh,
is something I very much like.
okay. So Ashton Genty is projected as the fifth best running back or the fifth
Best
running back
player.
taken in fantasy football right now.
Yeah.
So, do you think that's too high, or does he become like a stud?
Yeah. Yeah, he definitely becomes a stud. I mean, granted, I do have a little concern on the run blocking of the O line. This is my team. I live, eat, and breathe silver and black, so
Oh yeah.
I know it. But I do know too that the offensive line is better at pass protection. But I also know too that there was some production and some fantasy relevance out of Alexander Mattinson as a
Hmm.
straight up starter last season. Zamir White, for whatever reason, as good as he looked behind Josh Jacobs, a complete shell of himself last season. Now, I think with Pete Carroll and probably a few offensive line coaches that he probably knows that he probably brought in to maybe bolster the offensive line production. I feel that that production and that run blocking will absolutely improve. That tells me that kind of what we discussed with the Falcons running back situation, that if you can get Genty, depending how high in your draft you are, especially if you're looking 10, 12 team and you're towards the bottom of a snake draft, you would definitely be looking at Genty, or you might not get him at all. That's very realistic. But should you get Genty, I would think then Zamir White would be a fantastic handcuff. I think what I was betting on last season is actually going to happen this season with Zamir White. I think those guys, I think Zamir and Genty could be the best. They might end up being the best 1-2 running back tandem in the NFL. They really could.
What about Raheem Mostert? You don't think he's going to get in that mix?
So he will, but Raheem Mostert, because I know how this team works, Raheem Mostert, and I don't know if this guy is on the team still, but I think Mostert's going to be more like Amir Abdullah. So
Okay.
he's like the like the slingshot that just kind of like explodes out of the backfield. Like Raheem Mostert's going to do his damage over the course of a game in probably like 5 plays or less.
Hmm.
That's what Amir Abdullah does. And Amir Abdullah is a good pass catcher. So that's what we're gonna need. I mean, Zamir White is kind of a good pass catcher too, so he might overtake that job as well. But that's kind of how that mix is going to happen. But again, too, since I've been a Raider fan, we've actually pretty much always had three solid running backs. And we've almost had more than that almost every single season. Last season was the first season where things were like really, really depleted at running back, which was bizarre. But I think now we're coming back into that where it's like, yeah, we're pretty much running with 2 to 3 guys and we can plug and play guys in as it happens. But last season was a real shocker at running back. It just kind of didn't make sense compared to what I've been watching. I mean, I've seen some awful quarterback play, but in that time, the running back play, since I've been a Raider fan, probably over the last almost decade, has actually been really good.
Okay. Now I got a quarterback question for you. Let's
Yep.
see. Let's see where you stack these guys up.
Yep.
So, do you draft Justin Fields,
Yep.
Dak Prescott, or Jordan Love first?
Okay. Yeah, that's very interesting. I mean, again, I have my own draft strategy, and I gotta start crunching numbers and kind of start figuring out where my mind is set, especially with these guys that I like. And I got a certain strategy too that we'll definitely go into deep next week. But if I had to go any of those three first, I like Fields, and I'll tell you this straight up. For our fantasy league, he is a quarterback I am kicking around. He is a
Hmm.
guy that I will absolutely consider drafting for fantasy football. You're talking probably the fastest straight up wheels of any quarterback in the NFL. He is faster than Lamar Jackson. He's faster than Tommy DeVito. He is faster than Daniel Jones. Those are pretty much your four fastest running backs in the NFL. Josh Allen's got great legs as well, but not the fastest guy out there, but pretty solid.
Jalen
So,
Hurts.
but Hertz isn't really a runner per se. He's more of a tush push kind of guy. So
Okay.
that's where his damage comes into play, and that's where he takes away from Saquon, ironically, which is interesting. But I would ultimately of those three, I would actually draft Dak Prescott first because of
Ah,
how awful
Same.
how like I mean people so many people dislike the Cowboys and dislike I don't get it. I really don't get it. I don't get why people dislike Dak Prescott. The guy's been through a lot of adversity, but he's actually kind of a good guy. And I don't I can't I can't really put any kind of dislike on this guy, considering that over the last few seasons, basically the only thing that's been keeping them relevant and alive outside of some legit production from Micah Parsons on defense has actually been Dak Prescott and Mike McCarthy. Somehow, some way, they've manipulated that offense to kick on all eight cylinders when they also never had a running game. They never had like Zeke Elliott for the first few years of Dak Prescott was solid, but then he just kind of tailed off, doesn't stay in shape. You get it. But Dak Prescott, man, he can put up tons of numbers. He had a torn labrum. That's no joke. He was battling almost Tommy John's stuff. That's a baseball injury. So if he figured out some way to avoid getting Tommy John's surgery, got to give the guy credit for that. You really do. But he puts up big numbers, man, really big numbers. And people really sleep on that and forget it. And to be honest, their receiving core, they got a very interesting receiving core. And this is why I dislike Pittsburgh so much because one of these guys is from Pittsburgh. And if Pittsburgh still would have held on to this guy, I think to me that changes things. And I
Mhm.
love the receiving core of Dallas, to be honest. And shoot, the guy we're talking about, George Pickens, I think he's going around like the 80s. So you're talking like round 8 of a 10-team league. Yeah, I got my eyes set on George Pickens, and I got my eyes set on, ironically, Justin Fields.
Let's see if I can actually find where Pickens is going.
Also, their
Uh,
defense is trash. Their defense is going to be just pure trash. They're going to be on offense like all the time.
Man, Pickens. Oh my gosh. I
Pittsburgh
mean,
got rid of the best receiver on their team. That doesn't make sense. Like, let's
yeah.
call it for what it is. You don't get rid of the number one receiver on your team and expect that things are going to just be smooth sailing after that. I mean, for the
He's
Raiders, we lost Devontae Adams. We saw a significant setback. We did.
he's ranked 32nd. He's down with like Roma Dunze, Chris Olave, Tet McMillan out of Carolina, and Jamison Williams out of Detroit.
Two of those names you just said got me real excited. Like, I am getting happy feet from at least two other names that you mentioned. Besides Pickens, like those are three guys that I'm like, oh my gosh, I can do some real damage with.
Oh boy!
Oh boy.
Now you're
Oh,
killing me.
oh
Better
boy.
not be Tet McMillan. No.
I don't know who that is.
Wait a minute now. Don't be disrespectful to Tet McMillan. I was actually hopeful that the Packers would have drafted him.
Okay.
I mean, we got Golden, but Tet McMillan was the number 8 overall pick for Carolina this year out of Arizona.
Okay. Yeah, he's a guy I actually kind of like. I like from the tape. I gotta do some more deep research. Because Carolina is um well, I'll put it out there. Spoiler alert, they're my pick to win the South.
I know, I knew it. We did it. We did
We
it.
did it. We did
Oh.
it. It definitely came from some love from the other side of the screen here, but you do the homework and it pans out, man, and it pans out. And the thing is too, I mean, I know what it's like at work, and I know what it's like to put in your heart and soul and a lot of hours to the point that you basically are staying awake so long that your eyes are drained and you look like a zombie. And I have heard multiple times this past season that happened to Dave Canales. Like Dave Canales, you know what? I'll put this up there. Dave Canales to me is probably a top 10 coach, probably starting to creep his way to top 5. He probably is. And I know this is a name that's not too popular, not really well known. There's some cool stories I've seen, cool commercials with Canales on TV. Pretty cool guy, man. But this is a guy that breathes, and sleeps offense. And man, he is saving Bryce Young's career straight up, man. And the production he's getting, like you brought up the Arizona guy, but I mean, it's funny, I forgot about that guy. There's actually I'm hearing more stuff about the wide receiver they drafted way late. That is the guy that might be the guy you got to look at. I mean, they still have Xavier, what's his
Let,
name from South
let me
Leggett.
run. I know we're running. We're about to hit that wall,
We're about to
but
hit it, but Carolina's dope.
let me run these wide receivers: Ted McMillan, Adam Thielen, Xavier Leggett, Hunter Renfro is over there.
Yep.
Jalen Coker, who was like a stash last year from injuries, like they are
I'll
they
put
are
this
in
name
there.
I'll put this name out there because he actually has wheels. And I mean, we talked about Justin Fields, but yeah, I think I would take this guy ahead of Justin Fields now. Bryce Young.
Oh boy, Tommy Tremble, tight end out of Carolina. Like
Tremble's solid.
he's a solid player. I
I
mean, I'm not
mean,
gonna pick him as a starting tight end in the game,
yeah.
but
I like
dude,
Garrett Wilson, but man, I'm kidding. No joke, man. That lineup, even just wide receivers in Carolina, is scary, man. And like, there's talk about the running backs, blanking on their names. But
Chuba
like,
Hubbard.
yeah, Chuba Hubbard. I know you didn't like him, but man, did he explode last season? Hubbard's great.
Yeah, he made me angry because he was horrible at the beginning of the season. Then I dropped him, and all of a sudden he just explodes. But
He
Rico
did.
Dowdle's out of there. Like
Yes,
so they've got they got names.
they got guys.
Like
They got guys,
yes,
man. That is a scary
Carolina's
team.
winning, and they're going to the chip.
They're winning the South, man. But yeah, I mean, we just spoke about it. Actually, if I had to live and die with a quarterback way late in a draft, I think Bryce Young might actually be the one because I know he's got legs and I know he can throw. He's got a phenomenal coordinator and he's got weapons.
Is that
That's
how you want to end it today?
yes, that is how I want to end it.
Weapons,
Weapons. That's no debate.
total
So
no debate.
hey, I'm Steve Metrics. That's your boy.
DJ Triggs. Wait, I'm this way now.
Oh, okay, you're that way. Okay, and that's no debate.
Boom.